Okay, here we are then, the Europeans against the Pacificas. And it seems on these two left-hand charts here, the Euro Aussie dollar and the New Zealand dollar Swiss franc, we did actually miss a trade on both of them about an hour or so ago. You can't see the moving average. There it is. So moving average coming down. So we had a sell signal for this crossover right here, which would have started there. So going so-so at the moment. And likewise on the New Zealand dollar Swiss franc, you can see the moving average there. So we would have had a buy signal right at the start of that one. That had been going quite nice so far. So we may feel like we've missed those signals again. However, if we look on over to the right, the pound Japanese yen pairing, that is about perfect time. We are seeing this crossover here. That candle is going to close at 11:45, so that's just under 9 minutes, which means unless this absolutely plummets, we've come in at a pretty good time as we can get into a trade straight away. Vindication for all that waiting around on Friday. So we've still got a bit of time before that candle does close, which means we can use that to check out our economic calendar for the day. Not a huge amount going on today. North America having a holiday day, so happy Labor Day to all the Canadians and United Statesians. We've had no data overnight during the Asia session for these Pacific pairs. Factory orders from Germany at 9 o'clock just about an hour and a half ago. Those are looking pretty nice. There was a beat on the month-on-month, 3.4 against 0.9 forecast. And year-on-year, 24.4 against 13.9. Very nice as well. Otherwise, at 10:30 in the Eurozone, the biggest economies there, France, Germany, Italy, all giving out their construction PMI numbers. We didn't actually have a forecast, or it hasn't come through here, but compared to the previous, down a little bit for France, down a little bit for Germany, up a lot for Italy. We'll see how that turns out. But they are feeling pretty positive right now in the construction sector over there. And Eurozone as a whole, about the same as the previous, 49.5 against 49.8 previous. Yeah, nothing on the calendar for us. 11:30, we've got the Great British Pound Market Construction PMI. It's not going to have a huge impact. It's just not. We'll check it out because this one does actually have a forecast of 64.9. So we'll see if the Great British people can beat that. Since it's the only thing on for the day, I suppose at 2:30, we'll be watching the Brazilian BCB Focus Market Report pretty closely. Not expecting an impact on any of these currency pairs, but we've got to watch something. Should be very minimal impact, therefore, on our technical strategy. Just over 3 minutes now until the end of this period then. Let's get back into these charts and see if that signal's still happening. Does look so at the moment. These are long gone. The Euro, Aussie dollar, New Zealand, Swiss franc. Those signals, they are not going to come for us for a good while. So we'll check in on those. And for now, we're just going to focus up on the Great British Pound Yen. And there we see it. Let's open up our ATR here. Currently showing as 6.5 pips, so very likely to be our reading there. Price does keep tempting to come back down and maybe flip this over. I'm pretty confident this entry is coming. But if price continues to come down, we could lose it as soon as we got it. Probably better getting in here than somewhere up there though. Jumping up to 6.6 pips there, the ATR. Could go even higher if price comes even lower. Here we go then, 5 seconds to the entry. So we will get 6.6 pips as our ATR, which is 13.2 pips to our stop loss. There is our risk on screen now. Although with this roundup, it might end up being a little bit more than the 1%, but only by a touch. It'd be very close. There's our trades. We are in. So we can just set this stop loss here to 132 points. So we can take one trade and set the stop loss at 2 times ATR and set the take profit at 1 times ATR. And then for our other trade, we can set our trailing stop loss as a custom at 132 points and also set the stop loss at 132 points. So we actually have a stop loss going now instead of having to wait for that trailing stop loss. There we are then. That's our trades fully in the go. Price moving against us at the moment, but we've got that 2 times ATR value, so there is room to move. The potentially frustrating thing I'm looking at the moment is our stop loss down here, and it's right at the very bottom of this support level here. So we can see 1, 2, 3 times at least it has probed through there just for the low, not even for the close. It's just looked through that price and then come back up. Could therefore just have a few periods of coming down, procking the stop loss, and then still treating this as support, bouncing back up, and maybe even taking this take profit level as this candle did here and these ones over here did too. We'll wait and see. Well, here we go then. Our trades just moving into a little bit of profit. No, back to a loss, but they were in profit there just for a second. That was quite nice. Good to see. Price just ranging around our entry there as we are about to get these market CIPS construction numbers. the forecast is quite bullish. Above 50 is the purchasing managers being a little bit optimistic about the future, and below 50 they are a bit pessimistic. So forecast at 64.9 is pretty optimistic for the construction sector. These GBP market numbers then coming in 55.2 actual, quite a bit lower than the forecast, but they do feel like things are coming back a bit. Just after 12, still absolutely nothing going on with price here. It's really just moved into this holding pattern now, getting less and less volatile each 15-minute period. Breakout's got to come at some point. But let's take a look at these other charts and see if we're getting any closer to signals. Both of them doing the same but in reverse. Really the most likely signal we're going to get is through a crossover, like there or there, and then it coming back across again. It does seem to be breaking pretty quickly downwards now, selling pressure taking over, heading right towards that stop loss. Let's get the reversal. And we have got the awesome oscillator now reading below zero. This candle here, it did come up quite a bit towards the end there for the close, but because the awesome oscillator is calculated on the median price, that's the high-low divided by 2. Having such a low in that candle means it's dragged the awesome oscillator just under. So now we need to see a reverse in price upwards. If it closes under, then we will have to close the trade manually, which might not be a bad thing, could save us some losses, but here comes the green. And there we see it has closed, so we're going to get these trades shut down for about just over 0.5% loss total. So it'd be interesting to see where this one ends up. Let's pull that up there. Yeah, so it's just come down a little bit. We did go into profit for a minute there, but come back down. Let's see if this comes right back up off a level here, whether it continues. I definitely think it's right in general to shut this off now. It's giving another signal. If it does decide to really break upwards, then this will reverse and we'll get back in anyway. Pound yen, the price had gone on a bit of a surge since we closed it, but now it's coming back into that range there. Still a chance we might get another entry signal from a zero line crossover in the next couple periods. And there's also a strong chance on this center New Zealand dollar Swiss franc chart that now the awesome oscillator is going to close below zero. Our moving average is below the price at the moment, so it's not a trade that we can take, but it does put us on watch as price could bounce off of this support level here, and we could see a zero line crossover above the awesome oscillator, getting us into a buy trade. So a couple potential trades on the horizon, and despite some extended upward price movement here on the New Zealand dollar Swiss franc, that awesome oscillator does close below zero, and the pound yen price coming back to the center of the range, but it is threatening that zero line crossover as it edges closer. A couple green periods would almost certainly see that come, probably at about the same level as we got in the last time. And what a return in favor of the New Zealand dollar here, pushing up even more. The awesome oscillator, it is still just below zero, but if we see a strong green candle come again here, even if it just reaches to a high and pulls back, we're still pretty likely to get an awesome oscillator crossover here. Okay, and we are going to get this crossover on the New Zealand dollar Swiss franc. Don't know how excited I am to get in after such a run of momentum, and this is what we're kind of finding with the awesome oscillator here. Let's pull up our average true range though, and we can see they're currently showing at 4.7 pips, so 2 times ATR will be 9.4. Okay, and so we do have our entry there, price well above the EMA, awesome oscillator closing above zero. Let's get in there. You can see our risk on screen now. Excellent stuff. So now we just got to hope that this run continues. Let's set our stop loss for these. So 4.7 was the ATR, so 9.4 stop loss here, 94 points, and also 2 times here. And we'll also set the trailing stop loss for that one. I'm going to custom that up as 94. And now take profit in here, 47. Let's see if we can snag that. It has got to break through the resistance level, but if it can search through, that would be nice. The concern to me here is that possibly this stop loss is a bit too tight now after this run up. The awesome oscillator getting across too late, and we might see a retracement that actually procs this stop loss, but then over the long term might keep on going. Not a psychic though, we'll trust the system and see how that goes. Nothing really happening on these other charts. You can see the Great British Pound, Japanese yen selling off a bit more. So really the right decision at the moment to get out of that trade then. The stop loss did us well, even though it came back up Euro Aussie dollar on the all-day range, nothing going on with it. Coming down a little bit, could drop off, but that won't be a signal for us. So we can focus back in on the New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. Let's put the spotlight on that one. Here comes that weekly focus market report from the Central Bank of Brazil, and that Brazilian market report propelling our New Zealand dollar trade upwards into our favour. Let's keep that profit coming. Price pushing up now in our favour after taking a respite the last period. Coming back down a little bit, very close to our entry price at the moment as it just ticks up again. Let's have a look at these other charts. Yeah, the Euro Aussie dollar dropping off big time, so we are not going to get a signal out of there anytime soon, if at all today, to be honest. The pound yen though, price coming up the last few periods. One or two more green candles and that zero line crossover becomes near certain. It's going red at the moment, but there's a good chance it will be an option. For now though, let's get back in on the New Zealand dollar as price moves in our favour a touch more. Price making a little bit of a go towards our stop loss, but plenty of room still in it for us. Pound yen still edging closer to that zero line crossover, could be in a buy trade there next few periods. Price running back nicely in our favour there on the New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc at 4 p.m. Let's have a look at our other charts here. This Great British Pound yen was looking like there was potential for a crossover on that awesome oscillator, but last two histogram bars there has come down a lot. Price below the EMA now. Still though, it's been very rangy, so I wouldn't be surprised to see these turn green in the near future. It is making lower lows though. Tough call if you are trading on this chart at the moment. And still nothing on the Euro Aussie dollar. Is getting a little bit closer to crossing above zero, but then that just gets us on alert for the recross below zero. So not a lot of action there. Everybody start buying some New Zealand dollars. Get rid of those Swiss francs. Get them gone. So there's real life consequences for testing our strategy on demo mode. Last couple candles though coming back towards the stop loss. Almost about 3/4 of the way towards it. Not looking promising at the moment. There's still a chance though. We remain hopeful. We put our faith in the awesome oscillator and we keep it there. And it does actually come back strongly for us there on that candle. Price seeming pretty uncertain right now, but hopefully that is its decision to go green and get up there. Let's have a look at these other charts. And now we have had the zero line crossover on the Euro Aussie dollar pair. Let's get a close look at that one. You can see it's gone positive, closed positive just there, but price has come back down. So there is a fair chance that this will recross zero again if it doesn't get some movement in it. And we could well get a sell entry position on the Euro Aussie dollar. We'll keep a close watch on that one. And here comes the signal then on the Euro Aussie dollar. It has now gone beneath zero there on the awesome oscillator, and price is well below the 200 exponential moving average. So if it closes like this, then we will be jumping in that trade for a sell-off of the euro against the Aussie dollar. It does look as though we're going to get a green candle on the Euro Aussie dollar. Let's take a look at this. Again, the close seems quite certain below zero here. 45 seconds to go, so we'll pull up our ATR. ATR currently showing 6.6 pips, so that's what we'll go for. Stop loss at 2 times ATR value, so 13.2. Here's our risk calculated on screen now. Let's get straight in. There we are then, so we are in. We can call that stop loss there 132 points and call that take profit 66 points. And for this one here, we can set that at 132 points for the stop loss, and then also do our custom trading stop loss here of 132 points as well. There we are. Let's zoom in right there. That is our sell trade. There is our take profit. Hopefully that is going to go to our favor. 2 trades open now. Back on the charts. In fact, let's close off this Great British Pound Japanese yen. Doesn't look anywhere near to giving us a signal as the sell-off of the pound continues. Actually turned out pretty good to get us out of that trade early from the way it's looking at the moment. So let's close that one and let's get those 2 across like that. This green candle here on the Euro Aussie dollar could prove to have given us a good entry position if the sell-off continues. It's always a little bit sketchy to get in right at this sort of level here if the momentum continues, because you feel at that stage like it's run out. Nevertheless though, it does move a little bit against us at the moment, and so too does the New Zealand dollar Swiss franc. Price here on both trades running up towards our stop loss, well, up towards the stop loss in the Euro Aussie dollar, down towards the stop loss New Zealand dollar Swiss franc. Neither of these looking particularly good for us at the moment. This awesome oscillator looks like it might have a lot to answer for when all is said and done. Really bearing down on that stop loss there over on the New Zealand dollar Swiss franc pairing. Not looking good at all. 5 periods in the row of selling off, and it really looks like it's going to take it here. And there goes the stop loss. We could never get to that 1 times ATR value. We do try and keep it tight to be able to get profits there and say, look, hey, we only want half the distance to be able to take a profit, then twice the distance for the stop loss. But tragically, this zero line crossover on the awesome oscillator is just appearing far too slow. It'd be nice if we could be able to change it, but unfortunately there's no room for maneuver here. It's just the perfect indicator already. So yeah, that is full 1% from that. And we did say at the start, the entry didn't look great after this run up of momentum here, but we were certainly hoping that with this consolidation and this run up here, this was going to be a trend continuation. So now that is another loss for the awesome oscillator, yet to actually make us a profit in any trade, but we can always hope. Let's get onto the Euro Australian dollar chart. Let's bring that one up and we'll zoom straight in. How's it going? It is moving against us. We're about 1 times ATR towards the stop loss, so almost halfway there. Not feeling confident based on recent trade history, but let's keep rooting for that awesome oscillator. And incredibly, price has come back down and we are into a little bit of profit at the moment. Let's check on our other charts, see how they're going. No signal. That downward momentum continues on the New Zealand dollar Swiss franc. That awesome oscillator crossed below zero. So even if we hadn't got knocked out of that trade, we still would have closed it manually once this AO crossed zero, regardless. Great British pound, Japanese yen, ranging the last hour or so. Looks like if it's going to go anywhere, it's going to go down though. Unlikely to see a signal from there for a good while. So let's get back on that Euro Aussie dollar. We are riding fully on this one now. No new signals for us, and price has been dawdling a little bit towards our stop loss on the Euro Aussie dollar here. It feels very deep in this range. Just a few minutes ago, where this candle has closed here, can't really see it just down here, but if we scroll over, we do see the awesome oscillator. In fact, it actually closed just above zero. I didn't catch it straight away, but looking at it a little closer, and that is the case, which means our signal has reversed, and so we therefore have to manually drop out of these trades for one final loss of the day. So that is very unfortunate. Not too surprising, to be honest, in the grand scheme of things, because of how incredibly rangy this price has been since way back up here. It had this trend up here. Difficult to get anything from that, as we wouldn't have been in. And then since then, barely moved price. So not quite a full 1% loss from that one, but still not very good at all. Most of the way there, in fact. And let's see, no other signals on this chart. There could be a buy trade coming soon on the Great British Pound, Japanese yen, but I will have to leave that for every other trader in the world, as we are going to close up our session here. Had about 9 hours on the charts today, did get 3 trades. After the last session, the complaint from me then was that we weren't getting any trades. Well, we certainly did get some today, and they were all losers. None of them actually even getting to that 1 times ATR take profit. As I say, we really were trying to keep it tight to be able to squeeze out some profits for it. But when you're in a range, you are in a range. That will be it for session 4 though. Let's just have a look at those trades in the journal. And there is our journal at the end of session 4. Nothing nice to add about the awesome oscillator after today's trades. It just can't handle the range. It cannot handle the range at all. And we need a big trailing stop loss run tomorrow, which will be the last session we're using this strategy. If we don't get a couple big trends going for us, then there's no chance of making any money. I mean, yes, we can look at this and say there's been times where we've missed out on some good trends and would have got profits. So in some ways it could have been better, but in other areas it could have been worse too. There were some ranges that we missed out on. And all these trades here, they've all got 1 times ATR take profit value. So I don't feel like we're trying to be greedy. We've only managed to get it once to go 1 times ATR value in our way by following the zero line crossover on the awesome oscillator. Hemorrhaging money, we are down $365. That is down from 8,220 to 7,855. So this awesome oscillator, the zero line crossover for it, it has one more session to prove itself. We will be back then.